am Lisanne Miller with W, Cushing and Company, and it's November's in the Library with Lisanne. So we're first going to go take a look back at some of the books we still have in stock, and then we're going to go over 2 books today. Since Scrappy seems to be the theme, and it's going to be the theme for Third Thursday, I figured we'd go over a scrap rug book and then a book that should be in your library, and if it's not, you need to get it, and then you can revisit it if it is in your library. First, I wanted to go over the one from last month, American Primitive Hooked Rugs with Emmylou Lay and Barb Carroll. It is signed. It is a great primer. It goes over everything. These 2 women, unfortunately, well, fortunately for them, they're hooking in heaven. And this is a great book, a reference book for you to have in your library. So we have a few of these left, not a lot. And that is the American Primitive Hooked Rugs. Now, we were very lucky to get the Rag Rugs of New England and America. I went through this earlier this year, this book. This book is a must-have book. We do have 2 copies left. They are up on our website, but really this is a must-have book. If you don't have it, you need to get it. And it's got, as you can see, everything in it. Even the Grenfelds, etc. So a great reference book, wonderful book. Okay, it has a lot of frost patterns that are part of the Cushing collection. Just a wonderful, wonderful book to have. Rag Rugs of New England and America. We have 2 copies. For those that want to do animals and need help with eyes, with dyeing the wool, with everything. This is the Hooked on the Wild Side. These are brand new. These have not been used. We have them brand new. And it's a great, great book, a great primer. I've gone over it in my past in the libraries, and I think that you will enjoy it, especially if you want to learn how to hook animals. Another book, the Rug Hook book by Thomas Boswell. And the Boswell book is great if you're at an entry intermediate level. It's got a lot of useful information, and I have gone over it in the library. So we do have 4 of these left, and they're all the hardcover, and they are used. Now, we all know Christmas is approaching. We all know, or the holidays are approaching. Winter is approaching. We've had our first snow. So I want to go over the 2 children's books that I absolutely think are a must-have, whether you read them to your children, whether you read them to yourself, whether you use them as a reference book for rug hooking. The Secret Santa of Old Stonington. This is by Mark Kimball Moulton. As everybody knows, I just adore his books and his paintings. So, architectural, snow. Look at the water. Water's not just blue. It's got green. It's got gray. It's got everything in it. Here's a starry night. Here is not in snow, but here is a village. And I've gone over this book before. I won't go into great detail. But here's one. I had a question this week from somebody about doing shutters and a window box. Here's a perfect example of it. And of course, it's order of hooking. The shutters go first, the window, the shutters, then the flowers. So, this is wonderful. Look at the landscape, how it's separated, how the houses are tucked in. You know it's a house with windows. You don't have to tell the viewer everything. Look at the shading in his jacket. The shading in his jacket is very similar to our vintage paisley red. So, as you can see, this is a great book. It's got a great story for children. Here's trees, of course, my favorite thing. People, rope, how to do rope. This just keeps going on. And as you notice, there's the barn, the tree in front. When I did mine similar to this, I sculpted the tree. This was a great example for it. There's stones. So, a wonderful book. Great for children to read, great for you as a reference, a wonderful coffee table book. Don't miss out on this. The Secret Santa of Old Stonington. And even look at the back cover. How beautiful is that? How beautiful. Can you see it now? Okay. So there we go. Okay?
Got it.
There we go. The other one that's a little bit harder to get, I think we have one, maybe two copies, The Night Before Christmas by Will Moses. Not Grandma Moses, but Will Moses, in Grandma Moses style. So this is the typical Clement Seymour Night Before Christmas, but the illustrations are just phenomenal. They provide you so much detail. The night with the moon, the trees. These books are a little harder to get. We have some copies, and we always replenish. If we run out, just go on our waiting list. But this is a great, look at this. Isn't this wonderful? With the deer, with the fields, everything. Santa and his sleigh. Santa and his sleigh. So, there we go again. I have gone over this before. I think I went over it last year around this time. Don't want you to forget about it. Just a great, great colors, a great rendition. Wonderful, not as watercolor as the Secret Santa of Old Stonington. Look at his deep red jacket, but still a wonderful, wonderful book. Whether you use it as a coffee table book and also inspiration for hooking, there you go. So, this is The Night Before Christmas by Will Moses. So, on to today's books. The first book is an older book, okay? It's called The Hook Book, and it's by Alice Beatty and Mary Sargent. And I happen to know Mary Sargent's niece, Claudia Stevens, and she has a lot of Mary Sargent's rugs that I got to view when I lived in Mississippi. This was part of Rug Hooking Magazine when it was Stackpole. And this book is, the Hook Book is very, very similar. And it's dedicated to Stella Hay Rex. And we're going to go into Stella Hay Rex next year in 2023. And it's about mainly primitive rugs. A beautiful introduction by Mary. UN Rug Hooking. It's a creative craft. It's a very inspirational book. It also provides a lot of detail on wool gathering, and this is how we used to gather wool. We didn't have stores like we do now to walk into and buy, and you had bolts and you could cut it. We used to go and gather it in thrift stores. Used to eye people in church and say, wonder if he's going to give that jacket up. And believe me, I did ask a few people. What's unsuitable for rug hooking, which is always a good thing to know. This is very important on page 21. What is unsuitable clothing for rug hooking? We all learn by mistake, but here it is. Mary's lined it out for us. And the pictures are mainly black and white, but it goes into really what you need to do. Care of woolens before storing. It answers a lot of questions. Choosing a pattern and a color plan. Okay. Rug foundations, monks. She even uses burlap, which we don't anymore. How to make it yours. Color it right. Do it your way. And if you notice, keep it simple. Color it simple. That's my words. Here's how to bind. This can be bound with wool. This can be bound with binding tape, whatever you would like. And she even goes into binding round or oval rugs. Now that is a trick, and she does it and she describes it so you can do it. Different things about a frame. Of course, a frame is so personal. You have to do it yourself. You have to test out different frames. Here's how to make a frame yourself if your husband is crafty. And if he can do it, then there's how to make a frame. Height of hooking, how to hold the hook. all different how-tos in here. Different colors of the Cushing dies, how they fit on the color wheel, how to match dye lots. This is dyeing, and we've gone over dyeing in other books, but this is another how-to, how to pick the right wool. Effects for special dyeing, spot dyeing, how to dye antique black. Here's your recipe right in this book. So a lot of you may have this book. You know, if you're, and this is also in my dye book as well, but you know, what you start with, what you dye, the result you get. And if it's in your library, it's time to open it up again, okay? Order of hooking, not shading. She was more of a primitive rug hooker, so this is order of hooking, direction of hooking, and some gorgeous rugs in here. Okay, there's buildings. She does a little geometric. She shows you direction of hooking and backgrounds and borders. So if you have general questions and you need just a general guide, this would be it for you. The final step, the care and finishing of rugs. Always important. We forget the steaming process, how important it is. It becomes a new rug. Here's repairing hooked rugs. And then there's 3 rugs especially planned for beginners, and she tells you everything that you need for it. And then even a room-size rug. Okay, so great book. It goes through a lot of different how-tos, how to bind a room-size rug, and then some pictures, a gallery of rugs. Great book, great reference book. A lot of these are wonderful rugs to hook, and a good book to have. If you have it in your stash, it is time to reread it, especially how to dye antique black. We get that question. There's a lot of things in this book that you can refer back to, and I bet a lot of you have it on the shelf and haven't picked it up for a while. So please do. Okay, the next book is Scrappy Hooked Rugs by Bea Brock, Making the Most of the Wool in Your Stash. Tomorrow, on Third Thursday, I am doing the kitchen sink rug. There's a lot of interest in scrap rugs. We all have so much cut wool in our stash, and how to use it effectively. If you notice this cover, they're not dark and dull. There's beading, they're bright colors. And this Scrappy Hooked Rugs book really gives you, pictures are beautiful in this. It gives you what's in your wool closet, color blending techniques. There is a technique for scrappy rugs. Working with patterns, it doesn't have to be a scrap rug pattern. And even putting in creative stitches like the beading and how to finish scrappy rugs. So there are all sorts of different rugs in here. What's in your wool stash? It can be bright, it can be bold. It does not have to be dark and gray and black outlines, okay? These are just some of the different rugs in here. And again, if you have it on your shelf, time to look again. Organizing by color. Keeping the cut worms by color. Boy, she's organized. Wish my cut worms looked like that. Color blending. This is a scrap rug. Notice the use of the outline. Notice the use of the shades of the pink, the shades of the teals and the aquas. The blues are mixed in the background. We all know that's my favorite thing to do, is mix 100 colors in the background. But this is a scrap rug from Cut Noodles. Here's one on greens, okay? And if you notice, she's got an outline, but this is a double outline. That's used a lot in scrap rugs, and a double outline is very interesting because it gives you a little bit of definition. If you're doing a log cabin type rug, it does give you a definition or a depth. Okay. Here is a great scrap rug. Okay, the picture is shadowed, it's not your picture. She uses outline, she uses odd shapes, and it's color balanced. And it's color balanced, each of the animals is a different color, and then it goes into different motifs. She's got borders that are scrap, corners that are scrap. Here's a nice leaf, and the leaf has a vein. Here's one that isn't double outlined. Here's one that is. It's just a matter of preference. Also, look at the outline along the vein. In a scrap rug, sometimes you need that to soften the look and not make it as blunt. So neither one is right or wrong. It's just a look you would like. And this really is a wonderful, wonderful piece. Here is another small piece done in scraps. You can see she's used beading to accent, but they're just scrap pieces. She's used a beading here and an outline to set it up, and different ways it can be done. Without the outline, with a heavier outline, with a less heavy outline. So Bea gives you a lot of how to use outlines to their best advantage. Hooking direction, the direction of how to hook it. Now these are all scrap rugs. These are all scrap rugs. The use of outline, going around, echoing. These are in straight lines, which we would go around and around. Now this a lot of people like to do. It's a modification of the Vermont shell and it's like a log cabin. Vermont shell would also be done the same way. If you notice, there's your outline, and your outline's in different colors, so it breaks it up. But there's a little outline in between to step it down. The outline is the same value, but not the same color throughout. Pinwheels. Here's how to cut a motif from paper, draw it on, and here's what you can do with it and make it into a scrap rug. Another beautiful scrap rug. Color plans are endless. How to dye yarn. You can whip it to match it. You can bind with one of the wools in it. It does not have to be dark and dull. And here's the creative stitches. Here's the beading. Okay, and we walk on these. These are walkable rugs. Here's how to do the center of a flower, the checkerboard stitch, another use of the checkerboard stitch. Again, all with scrap rugs. Great detail. Here's the cobblestone stitch. And this is just a gallery of her rugs where you can pick up little hints. There's a bright, almost mola-colored animals as opposed to the pastels before. Combining all different colors on a dark background using the beading stitch. So there we are, and it goes on for more beautiful rugs. So if you have a stash that you want to destash, there's a rug for you in here, or an idea for a rug in there. And this is the Vermont shell, but she's added it to a bigger rug. She hasn't graduated it down, made it more look like lamb's tongues. 1,000 different things that you can do for a scrap. So if you have a stash that you want to destash, this is a great rug. This is a rug on tone and value. and it can go from that to a bright, bright rug. Your stash is your favorite to a pastel. Your stash is your favorite colors because there's colors that you've used. So why not use them to their best advantage? So this is Scrappy Rugs by Bea Brock. If you don't have it, you should have it to use up your stash. So that concludes our November in the Library with Lisanne. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Have a wonderful holiday season, and we will see you again in December. Bye for now.